Hi everyone. So this is a quick description of how to create personalized mass emails where the uh, address is addressed only to one person and it's not BCC'd, and the name in the greeting line or throughout the document is individualized. So when I set out to do this, I realized I made a mistake when I first set up my contact groups. So last week when I was setting up my high cycle, off cycle, I went in and I created contact groups. I went into my contacts down here. I'm using the app for Outlook. You know, you've got your calendar and so on. If you go into your contacts, come on, there we go. I had created groups like this, high cycle, off cycle, and so on. And that's the wrong way to do it if you want to create a personalized email. If you've already done it this way, you can still send out batch emails, but they can't be personalized. So you need another way to do it if that's your goal. And the way to do that is to begin from your contacts folder, right click on it, and select new folder. And you have to add a new folder to the contacts folder. Type the name in here and click OK. So if I was going to make a new folder and I called it trial, you would see it show up here on the left underneath the other folders that I've already created. So I'm going to go into one here, my probationary folder, which isn't finished yet, just to show you how to add a name. So once you've created a new folder, you then need to add everybody into that folder that you would like to have be part of that contact group. You select new contact in the upper left-hand corner. You have to type out their name. And here you get to type out the name you want the emails, the personalized emails to send to. So I have a student here, a teacher, sorry, here, whose name is Christopher. But if I wanted the name to appear as Chris, I would type Chris in here. You should type the full name as well. So last name is, and then you go to the email and using this, starting with their last name, you can find their email and there you go. One thing that I had to figure out, because I had a couple of teachers who have a double first name. And so to do that, you click on full name, and what if it was, you know, my dad's name growing up was Jim Bob, right? He's from the South, if you can't tell. You would put in both names here in the first name field, okay? If you typed it in here that way, as Jim Bob, like that, Bob will be the middle name and won't appear when you want to personalize the email. Okay, so you got to make sure it appears in that first name column. Okay, now I'm going to change this because I don't want it to be Jim Bob. Once I've created that, you click, you select save and close, and now I have a list of people here. Now, if I want to send an email to this whole group of people, the way I do that is I use this mail merge feature. You select mail merge. If you select all the contacts in the current view, then it'll be everybody here. But I had some issues with that, so I found actually it was better to do select everybody. So select the first name in the group and then go to the last name. So you have to do that. So select the first name, scroll to the last name, and then do shift and left click, and that will highlight the entire field. Okay. So if I was going to send it, just as long as I'm here, I'll send it to this group. I would select mail merge. Only to selected contacts. So everybody here who's selected. You can ignore the middle section here. Then down here, you want form letters, and you would select email. Okay, then you get to select your subject line. So I'm gonna call this a trial. And you select OK. Now you get a Word document. You can save this Word document if this is something you want to keep year after year. But the way to personalize it at this point would be to select the greeting line. And here you get to decide what you want your greeting line to look like. If you want it to say dear or to, or you wanted to edit it and have it say something else like, I don't know, hi. And then here you get to select the formality of that. One of the suggestions I read online is when you do this, like you don't want the letter to come off as a form letter that you have just auto-inserted people's names into. Even though that's what you're doing, that doesn't feel very personalized. So the recommendation was to write short and more informal messages using this feature. And then if you're writing a more formal message to the group, maybe there you don't try to personalize it that way. I expect my communication style is a little bit more informal that way, so I'll write more this way, which is why I wanted to create this system in the first place. This is if you get an invalid recipient, but if you set it up, you shouldn't have that. Here you get to preview what everyone's going to look like. So Morgan, Brandon, Ann, Tanya, Timothy, and so on, right? And you can actually see what they're going to see. Here you can adjust it. So if you want it to have their first and last name, you can. But let's say I just wanted their first name. This is what it'll appear. You would hit enter and then you would type your text. Let's say part way through you wanted again to include the person's name. You know, please enter, and then you wanted their name. You would click, instead of greeting line, you'd go to merge field, and these are all fields that you could have entered when you entered their contact information. So, you know, if you wanted to be able to personalize it by putting in a phone number or room number or something like that, you certainly could. But for now, I'm only going to use the first name feature. Or maybe I'll do full name. Please enter full name into field, you know, A, and share it with me. You know, I'm imagining what I meant, right? Now let's say I'm like, oh man, you know, is that going to look good? If I click on preview results up here, I'll see what it's going to say, right? So I can see what different, you know, what that's going to appear like by previewing the results. Okay. So there you go. And you will finish the process of doing this by going to finish and merge. At that point, you'll select send email. Now, I'm not going to do it because I don't actually want to send this as an email to my whole group, but that's what it'll look like. And if you find this useful, use it.